We in California have been blessed with some of the world's most beautiful scenery. Nature has left us gifts on which no monetary value can be placed. Our lakes, our rivers and forests, the mountains and the beaches, all are ours to enjoy in what must be a balanced program of use, development, and conservation. Wise use is the key. This is how Californians can enjoy these gifts today and make certain that they'll be passed on for the enjoyment of generations yet unborn. One example of our many natural resources in California is a rare lake, 6,000 feet above sea level in the high Sierra between California and Nevada. It is known throughout the world. Of course, I'm referring to Lake Tahoe. Since John Fremont discovered it in 1844, man has been coming to the lake in ever-increasing numbers to rest, to relax, and to play. But these visits are leaving their mark on the land. Much is also being said about water quality at Lake Tahoe. Some say the lake is being ruined by pollution and neglect. Others say it's being protected and preserved. There are those who look down at algae in the shallow waters and say the lake is a mess, it's polluted and doomed. But there are others out where the lake is beautiful and serene who say the lake is beautiful. The water is clear and fresh, clean enough to drink. Much the same type of argument has gone on about California's other natural resources. But what are the facts? Well, that's the purpose of this report, to give you the facts. With me today is Mr. Norman B. Livermore, Administrator of the California Resources Agency. The agency Mr. Livermore leads is the parent organization for all the departments of state government directly concerned with and responsible for maintaining and developing California's great outdoors.
Governor, we're doing this today in the hopes that our resources will be in even better shape tomorrow for our children.
To better understand what the Resources Agency is doing, what California is doing, both alone and in cooperation with Nevada, to solve the problems of preserving Lake Tahoe, let's first understand something about the lake itself. Tahoe is not a very old lake. In the biological, geological scale of time, it's a very young lake indeed. Warping of the earth in the Pliocene age created the ancestral mountain basin, which was dammed by lava flows about 2 million years ago. A lake was left behind with a level 600 feet higher than the one we know today. 500,000 years ago, during the Great Ice Age, glaciers began to advance and recede in the area, modifying the basin and changing the level of the lake. Today, Lake Tahoe has a shoreline of 71 miles and a maximum depth of 1,645 feet. In common with other young lakes, Tahoe's waters are a deep, rich blue. The green color, commonly associated with older lakes, comes from a concentration of algae, aquatic plants, and animal life supported by a supply of nutrient material. Lake Tahoe today has a minimum of nutrients. But the lake is beginning to mature. In the natural aging of the lake, Tahoe's waters are beginning to be capable of supporting algae growth. In normal geologic time, the color of the waters will deepen from blue to green. But this is a slow process, and under natural conditions could take as long as 100,000 years from today. The cycle has been speeded up, however, as man introduces great quantities of nitrogen into the watershed. Nitrogen is the material upon which algae feeds, and the more algae in the water, the less distance one will be able to see under the surface of the water. For the past 95 years, frequent readings have been taken to measure this seeable distance or this clarity. John LeConte used a 9.5-inch dinner plate back in 1873 to measure the depth at which the naked eye could see an object in the lake waters. At that time, LeConte could see 108 feet down. But modern science has done much better. In 1962, a Secchi disc measurement showed a clarity depth reading of 136 feet. Today, these two-cell submarine hydrophotometers are used along with the Secchi disc because they give a more precise reading in measuring the clarity of the lake. Hydrophotometer readings taken recently at Lake Tahoe have shown that light penetrates to depths exceeding 400 feet. An even more conclusive proof of the unique clarity of the lake is the recovery of growing plants similar to these from depths below 400 feet. Of all the major lakes in the world, only Crater Lake in Oregon also has plants growing at such great depths. If Tahoe were to lose its clarity, light could not penetrate to these depths to support the plants and fish which now live there. Major sources of the nitrogen which could accelerate algae and plant growth originate in the rapidly growing year-round population centers of the area. To minimize damage to the lake, an agreement was made between regulatory agencies in Nevada and California that no sewage or solid waste refuse would be allowed to enter the surface waters of the basin. The policy being enforced today is that all sewage and waste material, treated or untreated, must be exported from the Lake Tahoe watershed by 1970. Sewage is processed through the world's most modern treatment plants. Raw sewage enters each plant to be processed through a series of carbon filters where all impurities are removed. A clear liquid emerges, clean enough to drink, and so pure that it's almost tasteless. For export purposes, the California portion of the Tahoe Basin has been divided into two major areas. In the south, from State Line to Emerald Bay, the treated water is exported along a 27-mile underground pipeline to Indian Creek Reservoir in Alpine County, where it's distributed for irrigation of pasture lands. In the north, a joint project is under construction which will serve the west and north shores of Lake Tahoe from Emerald Bay to the Nevada State Line and the entire California portion of the Truckee River watershed. When completed, the joint effort will export treated water out of the Tahoe Basin. On the Nevada side, a treatment plant and pipeline is being completed for export into Carson Valley from casinos at the South Shore and from the residential and commercial areas of Douglas County. The Incline Village area in the north is the only developed area in the Tahoe Basin with no immediate means of export. However, this area is making plans for export. At present, treated water from the Incline Village area is being applied to a golf course for irrigation. The state of California has loaned more than $5.5 million to local districts at Lake Tahoe to aid in financing export projects. Substantial federal money has also been made available to local districts. The ultimate investment in the two states for local and regional collection, treatment, export, and disposal of sewage in the Tahoe Basin may well exceed $150 million. Money well spent to protect and prolong the clarity and quality of Lake Tahoe's waters. The approximately 314 square mile area surrounding the lake is developing rapidly. This means logging activities, highway and road construction, airport construction, resort development, casino and home building. As a result, a siltation problem due to land erosion within the watershed is appearing in tributary streams throughout the area. Public and regulatory agencies of Nevada and California are focusing attention on this problem. As more golf courses, private lawns, public parks, and highway landscaping come to the Tahoe Basin, another problem appears. Each of these requires the use of fertilizer, and more fertilizer presents an increasing problem in water quality because leaching eventually carries the nutrients into the lake. The sportsman also has a stake in Lake Tahoe. Since 1948, when kokanee salmon were planted in the lake, this game fish has prospered along with the Mackinaw trout. As the lake has matured, it's developed into a spectacular spot for thousands of fishermen. The Lake Tahoe Basin is part of a water supply system which services two states. Its waters are released into the Truckee River, making water quality and water quantity a matter of importance to the downstream user. After 12 years of negotiation, California and Nevada have approved a water use agreement to provide for the distribution and use of the interstate waters of Lake Tahoe and the Truckee River. The agreement must gain legislative approval and federal consent. Another bi-state compact has been approved by Nevada and California. This compact governs land use management in the Tahoe Basin and establishes an agency that holds the key to the future of Lake Tahoe. Most of the agency's members are local people. They now have the responsibility for governing the use of land in the basin. Man's presence on its shore has already marred what Mark Twain called the fairest picture the whole earth affords. But Lake Tahoe still can maintain its beauty, its clarity, its purity. We are determined that only nature herself shall age the lake. To those who ask, is Lake Tahoe rapidly going to become a polluted, dead lake, useless to man and a blot on nature? The answer is no. Generations now unborn will still enjoy Lake Tahoe and our other resources. What we're doing at Lake Tahoe is not unusual. It is one example of our determination to preserve California's natural beauty. We're not concerned with lakes alone, but with all our natural resources. This is your state, and this is your state government. It's only right and proper that you know what we're doing to make and to keep California the kind of state each of us wants, for ourselves and for our children. In the months to come, we'll report to you on other areas of interest to all Californians. In the meantime, I want to thank the Resources Agency for the fine work that's being done to help the citizens of California in maintaining and developing the gifts that nature has left us. And I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for the interest you continue to express in this great state of ours. Thank you.